Throughout the history of the Buffalo Junior Sabres franchise, many players have gone on to college hockey careers. Some have gone on to professional careers. Many others who have passed through the team may not have gone farther in hockey, but instead became important members of the local community. Nick Schmitt fits into this latter category. Schmitt is now a high school English teacher in Lancaster, New York. 10 years earlier, he was a forward and an assistant captain for the Buffalo Junior Hockey franchise, then known as the Buffalo Lightning. Ironically, he already had college hockey experience under his belt at Fredonia State, but decided to come back to junior, to the Lightning, a franchise that he grew up knowing as the Niagara Scenics.
My involvement with the Buffalo Lightning, Buffalo Junior Sabres, began with the Niagara Scenics back when I was just putting my skates on when I was 4 years old. My father took me to almost every Scenics game possible back when I was growing up, watching guys like Joe Baudo, Jeff Farkas, Brian Gianta come through that system was just awesome. And you know, it was a time when we had a really close relationship both with my family and Chris Hicks and the Niagara Scenics. We were the unofficial home of the Scenics afterward. My father owning Connor's Restaurant. They would be there after every game. And it was something that I grew up with, and I grew up watching this team. And you know, to be able to come back to that team in a year where I knew I was going to be ending my competitive hockey career, and to wear an A for that team was just an absolute thrill and an honor.
Coming into the 2002-2003 season, the Buffalo Lightning was coming off a last-place finish the season before. But this team, Schmitt insists, was a lot better than their own results showed. This team shocked the Ontario Provincial Junior Hockey League with a first-round playoff upset of the heavily favored Hamilton Kilty Bees.
We really were a better team than our record presented to it, because I believe we lost so many games that year by a goal or in overtime, and we were so close so many times. And when we got to play Hamilton in the first round, I think we were the 9 seed, they were the 2 seed, somewhere on that, when all 10 teams made the playoffs. We were very excited because we had played Hamilton that whole year, and we played them very close. I don't think we won one game. And we go into the playoffs. I remember, you know, going up to Hamilton, going to their building, winning the first 2 games, winning the 3rd game at West Seneca. They took games 4 and 5, but man, when that goal went in from Nicky that day, and it hit the back of the net, and that arena erupted. Just in West Seneca, it couldn't have been a better feeling for me. You know, I wasn't on the ice for the goal, but just being part of that was just an awesome, awesome feeling.
That Buffalo Lightning lineup produced several college-bound hockey players, and it even included a National Hockey League draft pick, Nick Tuzzolino, who enters the 2012-2013 season as a member of the American Hockey League's Abbotsford Heat. For Schmitt, at the end of his final year of junior eligibility, he decided it was time to get on with the next phase of his life.
I went to Fredonia, loved it there, played for Jeff Meredith in the Division III team there. Had a pretty good season, you know, and I could have definitely stayed on there, I think, in the long run. But the best choice for me was to continue my education at Buff State, just a financial and personal decision for myself. And by making that decision, I had the opportunity, and I looked at it as, you know what, I can go back and play for the team that I watched growing up as a kid, a team that was such a big part of my childhood, and I decided to give it a shot, give it a go. I mean, throughout the season, I didn't necessarily close myself off to possibly even transferring schools a 3rd time, going someplace else if the right opportunity had presented itself. And there were a few offers out there, but I decided that was, you know, going to be my last season. It was a tremendous way to end my competitive playing career.
Today, Schmitt is happily married and recently welcomed the arrival of a baby son. While some former hockey players give back as coaches, Schmitt is serving as an on-ice official, but he's also in a position where he too is working with up-and-coming hockey players in the classroom. As a teacher, while he supports a hockey player's dream to advance to the next level, he says it's important for those players, including today's Junior Sabres, to keep an eye on life's bigger picture while doing it.
Focus on your education first. I know I was not the best high school student because I focused too much on sports. By the end of my high school career going to college, I realized that, you know, education is so much more important than sports. And that's where I started focusing my efforts. And I try to tell my students that, and I try to tell anybody that will listen to that, so that they don't you know, make the mistake of being 21 years old and maybe don't even have a high school diploma or barely have any college education, because that's going to be the most important thing for most people. One of the things that I always thought was very interesting back when Chris Hicks was coaching and when I tried out, and I don't know if they still do this, but even to try out for the team, you had to bring a copy of your most current report card to try out. I don't know if they're still doing that now, but that was always an interesting thing, that you had to show that you had the grades to be able to pursue a college education, even try out for the team. Seeing where this program is going and seeing that the resources that the Sabres and this Sabres Alumni Foundation have been pouring into them, I really think it's going to provide the opportunity for the program to get these players to the college and get them to colleges and universities where they need to be, so that they can pursue the goals that should be important. They can play hockey along the way, but get the education. I think that's probably the most important thing.